ever find yourself holding back from making a change in your trading? And even though you know it's the right move, you just simply cannot make the step. And maybe you are scared of what will happen if it doesn't work out, or you convince yourself that failure is just around the corner. But what if there is another fear at play here? In today's episode, we are diving into why traders hesitate to make the changes they know they need. We'll talk about how fear can paralyze you, not just because of failure, but because of something deeper, and how you can overcome it to finally take action. Let's dive in. You are listening to the Confidence in Trading podcast. I am your host, Agnieszka Wood, a trading mindset coach and a seasoned day trader with over a decade of experience. If you are new to my show, don't forget to subscribe so you can come back for the next episode. In this podcast, we explore the fascinating world of psychology and the human element of trading. We take a deep dive into different perspectives to inspire you and help you navigate the emotional ups and downs of trading with self-compassion and confidence. Whether you're just starting out or you're a seasoned pro, this podcast is your trusted companion providing support on your trading journey. Get ready to boost your confidence and unlock the secrets to mastering your mindset for success. Welcome to episode 54. Why change feels so scary? Why traders hesitate to make a change? Hi, Greg. Welcome back.
Hi, Giska. Hi, everybody. Fantastic. I'm super excited to be back and chatting about this topic. It is definitely something I've had to tackle in the past, and it blindsided me for sure. So I'm excited to chat about this one.
That's awesome. Have you ever wondered why you often hesitate to make a change? And, just even though you are frustrated, stuck, losing money, and you're caught up in this emotional roller coaster every single day, you still cannot somehow move away from that. That despite of having solutions right in front of you, you still resist, and somehow you talk yourself out of making a change. And you just like keep rehashing the thoughts. What if it doesn't work? What if I fail again? What if I can't handle it? Or what if I lose everything? Because, being a mindset coach, I talk to traders every single day. And this is really something that I come across all the time. Do you also have the same experience as a coach?
Oh, yeah. And from the mindset aspect of even just taking trading outside of it, just from a life perspective, it is honestly one of the most instrumental aspects that you need to implement correctly, because otherwise your fears of success and failure are both going to be overwhelming on both sides of the fence. And you're not going to be able to get a clear picture on what your path forward is, because no matter what path you choose, you are thinking or fearful of failure on one side, and secretly deep down, you might actually be scared of the success if you do take that chance.
That is so interesting that you're mentioning it again, actually, because the fear of failure is so much more common, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not many talk about fear of success because,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, let's be honest, like if you don't have success, you're like, why would I be scared of it? This is actually something I really want, right? So, no, of course, I'm not scared of success. But nobody really realizes that actually fear of success can be as paralyzing as fear of failure.
100% agree. I couldn't agree more. It is a massive topic that I believe is not spoken about enough.
And you mentioned that you had actually uh, that played in your personal experience, a fear of failure. Would you? Sorry, fear of success.
Yes.
Would you like to say anything about that?
Oh God, yeah. This was a story from back early in my career, and I had no idea that I was scared of obtaining success until I actually talked about out loud with a friend of mine. And I had spent years in IT, and I was trying to develop myself and my skill set to specifically designed more toward law firms and support. And there came a position that was available, and it was an abroad position. So I would have had to move out of the country. And I had come across it, and I had sat down with a friend of mine who also worked at the law firm. And I had said, I think I'd be really good at this job. I, I don't know if I should apply or not. And she had sat down and said, well, why do you want to apply for it? I said, well, because I think this is going to challenge me in a new way, but I know that my skill set already, I think I'd be really good at it. And she said, apply for it. And I said, what happens if I get it? And I remember saying those words out loud to her, and her looking at me like, are you serious? You said you want it, and if you're going to apply for it, what do you mean? What happens if you get it? And it was at that moment that it hit me. I was afraid to apply for a position that I knew I would be good at. And I knew it would give me an opportunity to expand what I was capable of doing and to move out of the country, to expose myself to different ways of life. And I never took the opportunity to do it because of that innate, subtle, not in the forefront fear of actually obtaining and being successful at something that I wanted to do. And from there on out, I then started to go, holy cow, what else have I not taken an opportunity to be successful at? Because I wasn't even looking at failure. I was afraid of succeeding. Holy cow.
And that's totally different, right? When you think about it, it's like so counterintuitive. You want success, but then you're afraid of
Yeah.
it.
It was such a dichotomic shift for the way I saw myself and my fears and my successes. And I started to reshuffle things. It was an incredible experience, but definitely one that's helped me today to become a trader. And because of that experience, I would not have taken the chance to be a trader now. I would have sat with the masses and been more afraid of failure and not taken the responsibility of chasing after my own success.
So there is already a lot of material about fear of failure. And I think even in one of our episodes, we talked about fear of failure. So let's unpack the fear of success more in depth. So fearing success, and I think you kind of touch a little bit on that. When you have fear of success, what are the things that we are really scared of? And I think you said that unknown, right?
Mm-hmm.
The change, like what is going to happen? What can I expect?
Yeah.
So that fear of unknown, the uncertainty. What
Mm-hmm.
is it going to, how is my life going to look like? And what will be expected from me? What can I expect from myself?
Mm-hmm.
And in trading, if you really think about it, when you are attempting to become a successful trader and start learning how to do that, you notice that there's a lot of things you have to change about yourself as a person. So you are sort of becoming a different person, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that there can be a lot of pressure in that, not just from yourself, but also from the environment. You
Oh
might be
yeah.
thinking, a lot of successful people up the top, you look at them and they get a lot of criticism. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Suddenly you are getting a lot of attention and people are saying different things about you, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what if I become successful? What if I become rich? And now nobody will like me.
That's a part of it.
And that is part that can go very deep, because if you have that syndrome of I want to be liked
Mm-hmm.
from the very beginning of your life, this is what is going to start playing, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
you don't want to be excluded. You want to belong.
Mm-hmm.
And the moment that you are getting into that successful group, and we know that it's just a few percentage of people
Mm-hmm.
that are getting there is a huge chance that, you might not have the same friends as you have now. So you will have to let go of things.
Mm-hmm.
And that fear can stand in a way quite a lot, right?
Oh, it stands in the way more than most people are aware of in the dealings that I've had with my clientele, and also in a personal perspective. it does weave its way into so many different facets of your life that you may not even be aware of. And people
Yeah.
pleasing, as you mentioned, people pleasing is definitely one of the leading candidates in the clubhouse for that. Because when you do become successful, you do change and you do have a different circle of people that you do run with. And having the awareness and the ability to move away from what's comfortable, whether that's socially acceptable or whether that's professionally acceptable, both are different but equal, where you don't want to be exiled in either one of those formats.
Right.
But you do have to elevate yourself and your position the more successful you become. And as you do that, you are going to have to leave either people, groups of people, or positions that you've been in behind. And that will change their perspective of how they see you.
And you see it very well in trading because, communities are most of the time consist of people who struggle,
Mm-hmm.
and they all struggle together. So it's a kind of a nice and cozy group. Let's all stay there. And, we will talk about our misery. We will laugh. We'll maybe have a beer together. But if you want to change something, you cannot surround yourself with people who are not going the same direction, because just by the momentum, if you are in that misery, this is what's going to be pulling you back.
Mm-hmm.
And when you start making changes, and you see it not just in trading, when you start making changes, people who don't, they see the difference, right? So they start seeing the difference in who you are suddenly.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not that they don't like that you are doing it. They don't like what they see from themselves in you, because now suddenly the contrast becomes bigger, and they go like, oh, look at him or look at her, right? Because they feel that lack, that I know I should be doing that, but I don't have the discipline, or I don't have that, I don't feel like doing it, I'm just lazy. And
Yeah.
that is what starts playing. So
Yep.
if you fall for it, it will pull you just right back.
Mm-hmm.
And this is something that a lot of people are afraid of. Yeah, what if people will start criticizing me?
Oh, yeah. And for most people, that is an extreme fear, but you have to be able to flip that understanding of your fear of social exile from the people that are no longer serving a purpose for where you want to go. That's actually a positive aspect. Now, I'm not saying don't ever speak to them again or completely cut them out. That's don't get that confused.
Right.
Your interactions with those people can become lessened the more that you become successful in what you choose that you want in life. That doesn't mean that they get exiled and they're done forever. It just means that you have to start finding a group of people that will lift you and pull you forward rather than
Totally.
keeping you stagnant and a weight keeping you in the position that you're in. And there's a very big difference between the two.
Yeah, and I think what you said about um, you can speak less to them. I think that even might happen naturally,
Mm-hmm.
because the more you are focused on your goals and the more you are growing, then there is less in common.
Mm-hmm.
And usually people make relationships based on some commonalities,
Oh, they
right?
do.
Oh, I just broke up with my boyfriend, you broke up with your boyfriend, let's talk. We are in the same boat,
Yep.
how we becoming great friends. And that is happening also in trading. When you start growing, when you start seeing progress, and you connect with people who see the same thing, this is what increases the momentum. And
Mm-hmm.
that's what I see in my community. It's like cheering each other up, instead of having someone in the community who is constantly like being jealous that one person is doing better,
Yeah.
because this is simply just gonna weigh on you negatively, because
Mm-hmm.
you don't want to be that one person who sticks out, right?
You do, and it falls all the way back to human nature. I mean, we as a human species, we want to be part of something or with someone. That's just how we are. We're social creatures, and
Right.
right now, the biggest threat to our lives is no longer death. It's social death or professional exile or social exile, and that creates an incredible sense of fear and paralyzation that what happens if I lose it? What happens if I do? I'm comfortable here. I can't leave this. This is everything I know. And well,
Right.
oh my God.
Yeah, what happened? And then you have those what ifs again. And it
Correct.
is so interesting that you say that, because if you look at the times we live in, that's where the social media really
Mm-hmm.
is the thing, right? So the crazy thing about it is that when you measure your own value through the social media, how many friends you
Mm-hmm.
have, how many likes you get, how, how beautiful your picture is, and everyone reacts and tell you how beautiful you are. If this is what is feeding your self-worth, it's very dependent. It's
Oh, agreed.
there is
Mm-hmm.
no freedom, and it's very uncertain too, because you see how quickly, especially in the last weeks, you see how quickly someone who is extremely successful and a
Mm-hmm.
popular can become unpopular very, very quickly. If you have if you build your self-worth not based on what someone else is saying, but really increasing your own value by learning,
Mm-hmm.
by growing as a person, and making that connection, deeper connection with yourself, and finding your self-worth just in who you are instead of what other people think about me, it's much easier to actually allow yourself to succeed,
Mm-hmm.
I think. And give yourself the opportunity to actually also make mistakes, right? Because it doesn't take away
Yeah.
from your self-worth then.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. That is exactly the blueprint for how to start building a confident lifestyle that will ultimately serve you to become more successful, not serve the purpose of you being, in more social groups, but actually conquering the fear of getting the responsibility, taking the ownership, and being viewed in a different light as successful. And whatever version of success that is to you, that's all that matters. Like Miska and I can't define your value of success. You have to be able to do that, but you do have to be able to overcome the fear of actually obtaining it. And then once you do, when you get it, what you do with it, that is all up to you, my friend. We cannot tell you what it is.
Yeah. And you know that the whole, like, what really plays a role here, like, when we talk about self-worth, is actually believing that you do deserve success. So
Yeah.
when you are
Yes.
scared of success, part of it is not believing that you can actually have it. And
Mm-hmm.
that is blocking many people from keeping their profits. When they are making profits,
Correct.
they just give it right back, because,
Mm-hmm.
you know, who am I, right? To be that person that I supposedly want to be, because
Mm-hmm.
I don't deserve it. I am either not good enough, not smart enough, or somebody else told me that I'm all those things.
Yeah.
And that is, if you guys have any anything that, like, right now when we're talking about it, if anything resonates with you, or something comes up, or you feel something in your heart, or in your stomach, if anything resonates, that is definitely something to look at, because I can tell you that fear of success is very common, even though not
Mm-hmm.
much spoken about, but it is very common, just
Agreed.
from just because a lot of people have grown up in that mindset of, you have to
Mm-hmm.
work hard, you're not good enough, you always have to get better, no matter how good you
Mm-hmm.
become, you're still not good enough. So
Yep.
n- even giving yourself a chance to succeed is like, I will never succeed, right? Because I can only succeed if I'm perfect, and I will never be perfect. So what is the chance that I succeed?
Yeah, it's a massive shift when you move from a scarcity mindset to an abundant mindset. And when you're capable of seeing that, that is literally the shift of fear of failure is your scarcity mindset. And when you move toward an abundant mindset, and you start to see how many opportunities you do have to succeed in trading, in whatever type of trading you even decide to accomplish, whether that's you want to be an options trader, you want to be a day trader, you want to be a swing trader, scalp, whatever that may be, you have so many different facets of opportunities to become successful in the way that you deem it. And that responsibility is yours. You need to own that and you need to take it because we can't do it for you. The best we can do is give you a blueprint to help you get to where you need to be. And then we get the absolute joy and the most rewarding aspect of everything that we do is watching you thrive and succeed, knowing that you are worth every bit and value of that success.
Yeah. It's sometimes so difficult to watch how people limit themselves, right? Because like anytime I look at someone, I see the potential, I know that they can do it, but there is so many limiting beliefs in between that it's not easy for them to actually see what they could be.
Agreed.
And
great point.
It
yes.
stops you from making commitment. Like if you are afraid of not doing something well, or if I become successful, I don't know how my life will look like. I want to stay comfortable. It's very difficult to commit to something. So you might say, yes, I am committed to my trading. I want to make it a success. But if you have the fear of success deep down, you can want it, but it's most likely not going to happen. And if you're struggling right now, that could be that fear that is actually blocking you from moving forward. And if you don't break through that, then it's just very tiring for yourself to bounce against that resistance. Because I can tell you, I know that you feel that resistance every time you work against yourself, and then you wonder, why did I do that? This is the exact resistance that you want to do something, but then you don't do it, right? You really put that roadblock in front of you, and then you try to push it away. But it is us who are putting those roadblocks in front of us by resisting something. And change is one thing that is always happening, right? And there is really no point of resisting it.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's part of why you are so exceptionally good at what you do and how you help people remove those roadblocks or move around those barriers or climb the wall, whatever it is that they have in front of them, so that they can see that they're the ones that put them there, which means they have the ability to break through it, climb over it, go around it, or break it down. And that's why you're exceptional at being able to get the best out of people to get them to where they need to be.
Come on, Greg. Thank you. It's a little bit like the Matrix, right? It's all, it's all made up. We make it all ourselves in our head, a lot of those obstacles, and then we fight with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, the limits that we put in front, those really don't exist. I know it sounds weird because if you think like, yeah, but I'm fighting with it. So what do you mean they don't exist? They are only in your head.
Yes.
And that's the whole thing. It's like, it's the mindset that your mind is set on something. And then once you put your mind to it and you keep circling around it, if this is about a limitation, then yes, it will definitely limit you. But if you put your mind on your potential and start asking yourself, instead of what could go wrong and the what if I don't succeed, what if you start turning it around and ask yourself, what if it does work? What if I do succeed? What then? And if you get an answer, oh my God, what if I do succeed? Then you might be just scared to succeed. And now you know what fear that is, and now you can do something about it, right?
Yeah. And it's no different really than tackling the fear of failure. It's a fear, and both reside in your own head. That's not something that we can take out or remove for you. We can help you to get through it, but ultimately, as you just stated, it's all in your own head. And how big you decide to make those issues and problems or roadblocks, then you also have the ability to decrease the amount that they are either prevalent in your life or non-existent.
Right. Just a little bit like a volume dial, right? You can turn it up and then you can turn it down, because your head is constantly talking to you. And now it is up to you how loud you allow to talk.
Yeah.
And you can talk yourself out of things, or you can listen, or you can just completely mute it and say, you know what, I am not listening. Just like when you are in, an environment of people that tell you why you will succeed and
Mm-hmm.
tell you why you won't.
Yeah.
Who do you want to listen to? And I can tell you that if you believe one or the other group, whoever you believe says something about what you believe.
Mm-hmm.
If you pick the things that people say why you wouldn't succeed, then most likely you believe there is something in you that tells you that you won't.
Mm-hmm.
But be aware that no matter what you believe, it doesn't say anything about whether you actually will or not,
Mm-hmm.
unless you really believe it.
Mm-hmm.
That's a twister, isn't it? So if you have a thought, I don't succeed,
Yeah.
just like in the market, the results from the past, and I know you've been failing, you've been losing money and all, the results from the past do not guarantee the results in the future.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, they do talk about profits,
Mm-hmm.
but it also applies to losses.
Mm-hmm.
If you lost yesterday, doesn't mean you will lose today. So if you have a belief, I don't succeed, most likely it is because you haven't succeeded yet. So you
Yeah.
have the evidence. Now, if you look in the future and you say, oh, I won't, because of that, I won't succeed in the future, that is simply not true, because it depends
Mm-hmm.
what you do today.
Agreed.
Unless you really believe it, and then it will be self-fulfilling prophecy, and you will do everything to keep yourself from success.
Correct. And no matter what you'll do, you'll have your confirmation bias in the way that you choose to think. And we all have it. And your thought process and what you believe to be true, you'll continue to seek, find, or drum up whatever the process or facts that you want to believe to confirm you are not worth it.
I love the fact that you said drum up, because this is exactly like we really hit the same drum over and over again, right?
Yeah. And we just keep doing it. And you'll figure out and morph it and shift it until you finally get to, yep, see, I told you I shouldn't be able to do it. Well, the same exact thing happens when you go, see, I told you I could do it. I knew I could be successful. I knew I could be a great trader. I knew I could be positives in more than my
Right.
trades than negatives in my trades. I knew I'd be able to do that. Move toward the aspect of confirming yourself to be successful and confirming yourself to be worth it. And you will see far more advances in your trading career than also in your regular life as well.
Absolutely. And big part of it is, being more kind to yourself, right? More
Mm-hmm.
compassionate, because that is what will build more resilience. And eventually this will help you moving forward and get up when you fail and
Mm-hmm.
feel that you are deserving instead of beating yourself up. So let's talk about change a little bit more. Why change feels so scary? Because change in itself, like we said, is just a normal thing of life. Like, we really cannot stop change no matter how we want. Yes, we don't want to age, so we try to stop it. We will age eventually.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we will also die. Everything is changing, but there is so much we can grow from it, and fighting against it is really pointless. Everything is changing. So why do we do that? Why do we fight so much?
I have this. I've had this discussion. I've probably 1,000 times, and I love being able to explain it in a way that most people, when they view change, you view it in a larger construct of time. Whether that be like you had said, someday we're going to die and we're going to age, and we don't want to age. And when you look at change in a larger construct, it becomes overwhelming, and you become more avoidant of it. And then when you start to shrink the time frame that you view change in, and you start to really get a grasp on what the definition of change is, down to the cellular level of who you are as a human being, you are not the same person when you started listening to this podcast to the person you are now. You are a different person. Physically, your cells have changed, your information concept has changed, you have learned things that you didn't learn before, or maybe you have learned something that has changed your point of view. All of those aspects have changed who you are. So when you shrink the concept of change, it is the only constant thing in your life and will forever only be the constant thing as you are here physically on this earth. You will change. You're a different person than you were yesterday, and you'll be a different person tomorrow because of the people you are around, the impact that they have, the impact that you have, the information, the experiences, everything you do changes you. You'll be a different person tomorrow. So shrink your concept of understanding what change is, and you'll become far more comfortable at steeping yourself within change.
So in fact, what you're saying is we are changing constantly, and this is what makes it constant. And this is with everything, right? If even
Everything.
how we are seeing things, right? Everything is moving. Like we see things that are constant, that are solid. We see solid material things, but we know that they are actually not solid, that there's always movement, there's always a change, right? On the atomic level, that there's nothing really solid. But we get so hanged up on things that change becomes scary because that means that we need to let go of things.
Yes.
But in fact, we are not doing otherwise. Every time you breathe out part of yourself, right? You breathe out the particles and you've changed. This is just so good.
Your hair is different. Your hair is a different length than it was this morning. You've grown more. Your nails have grown. You have changed every aspect of who you were from when you got up after you showered. Your body type has changed. Your skin value has changed. Everything changes in its own scope. So don't think about change as this giant, incomprehensible 200-pound gorilla that's on your back. It's consistent every day in everything that you do. So when you start to conceptually realize it and really take a look at it, if you don't believe me, start to look at the things that you have changed every day. You got up at your house, you changed, you moved,
right.
You got in your car, you've moved, you moved to go to work. You've now changed the listening concept of what you wanted to do. Maybe you were listening to music before this. You've changed. Now you're listening to this podcast. And when this is over, you'll change and go do something different.
Right.
You'll be different. You always will be.
I'm sitting here laughing because I was like, did you really notice I cut my hair?
I did not, but your hair looks fantastic.
I was like, is this just an example or you are actually seeing that I did cut my hair this morning?
I did not notice that, but it did actually play out quite well. Your hair looks fantastic.
Thank you. That's really funny. So yeah, change and letting go of things and letting go of the fixation of what is it that we need things to be. I think that this will also help you to get rid of that fear of success. And, when we look into the future, we have a certain imagination of how things will be, right? But the moment we get there, they might be completely different. So that fear of what will happen when we get there is irrational, like most fears. And it doesn't really say anything how you will feel in that moment. Because when you are successful, remember that you have gone through a journey. And because you have changed through that journey, because you have grown, it didn't happen overnight. So by the time that you are there, you are ready. You are a different person. And you are ready to handle all those challenges, to handle criticism, to handle things that right now might actually feel scary. You won't
beautifully said.
You won't care about what someone else thinks, because the moment that you are successful and you allow yourself to do that, there will be so much potential and opportunity also to help others and make an impact. It will be there, and you won't sweat the small stuff. because it will be completely irrelevant. And this is also what you see from a lot of successful people, right? When you look at them from where you are, you criticize them, but they don't care.
No.
They're on
Nope.
a mission. They have their vision. They don't care who someone says about them. That's why they act like they are. And it is absolutely up to you whether you become someone who is arrogant and, doesn't care about anyone, or who you
Yes.
are. That depends on your values and you have control over it. So it's also not like you have to be scared that you become some kind of, guy that you hate right now when you look at him. So that is something that is absolutely up to you.
Yeah, it is. And you don't have to fear becoming that egotistical, self-centered, shallow human being that sometimes comes along with people that work themselves up to be extremely successful. And if you recognize that now, those are very easy options for you just to delete when you do find your own success, especially in trading.
Right. And the last part, last kind of factor of changes and being successful and overcoming the fear of success is part that can be very close to your heart, because when you change, your environment changes as well, and your loved ones will see the change. And there might be some resistance that you come across from your environment, whether this is your partner, your spouse, your parents, maybe even friends. There will be some sort of resistance for the reasons that I explained, because they will see themselves, they will see the contrast. You are growing, and there might be some gap coming in between, but it doesn't mean that you have to drop them. Like you might have to drop some friends, but like if you want to have people in your life that you find important, and you are changing, your perspective and worldview is changing, I think the worst thing you can do is to try to fix them.
Agreed.
It never works.
Agreed. It will never, ever, ever work. 100% of the time, it will never
It sounds
work.
like you tried.
Oh, many times. I have tried that in the past, many, many times. And rather than trying to go back and fix it, you just have to accept who you are, and you have to accept who they are. And at the end of the day, the relationship will be what it needs to be. And if you can find a way to help benefit their life, even though you've changed, then you get the opportunity to do that. And if they can find a way to help you in your journey, even though you're changing, then they have the opportunity to do that.
Right.
So your change doesn't need to be kept in that pocket and that mold of who you used to be. And that's what a lot of people hold on to, is they liked the person that you were, and they're afraid of losing the person that you were to the person that you're becoming.
Right.
And that
Yeah.
doesn't need to be scary.
Yeah. And it's just sometimes not easy to let go of that image, because you are getting so acquainted and so comfortable with that image, right? And that's where you see a big change. Suddenly you might say to person, oh my God, what's wrong with you? Right?
Yeah.
Because what they actually mean is you are different. And that should be a huge compliment, meaning you just made a leap, right? And they have noticed. So it's really working. And instead of getting scared, it's like, oh my God, is there something wrong with me? Oh, wow, maybe I should stop this process. Be the example, lead by example, and give everyone a chance to have their own process. It's not like you started changing or making the decision to change right away. And maybe you are that person. I don't know. I know at this point in my life, I am like, bring it on. But when you are, at the beginning of journey of letting yourself change and letting yourself succeed and allowing yourself to get out of the comfort zone and face it head on, whatever fear it comes, it takes time. So if it took time for you, some other people might need more time as well. And it's just a matter of respect, compassion, and letting them with respect in their own value and leading by example.
Yes. And if you've been through it, you know what it takes to get through it, which should lead you to engage with the individuals that are having some contention towards you with a little bit more compassion and respect and empathy, because you know how difficult it is to change and to get to where you need to be, especially making the decision to become successful in trading. You have to bet on yourself and you have to view yourself as successful. And that's an incredibly draining process and scary process. So if someone isn't willing to do it yet, have compassion for them, because you know what it takes and you know what's on the other side. And when you find what's on the other side, you'll do everything you can to help them with their process get to where they need to be.
Right. And then when you are in the process of, changing and actually you have decided you want to be successful, from my experience, the decision always comes first. Because I know that a lot of times we feel like, okay, I need to see that I am successful and then I will believe I'm successful. Unfortunately, it works the other way. The beliefs are very powerful tools we have. And you got to believe first and make decisions first that you are going to make it. And then the success comes. Because once you decide that you are going to make it, that you stop questioning it, you will start taking the right actions. And it's very intuitive, because if you are convinced about it, you will prove yourself right. This is just a pure mechanism. We always want to be right. That's why it is so important. What is it that you believe about your success? Because you will prove yourself right. So make sure that you have the right belief behind you, because this is the force that will help you achieve success and conquer your fear of success.
100%. Your confirmation bias, you get to choose it.
Absolutely. So just let yourself get out of the comfort zone, even if it's just a little bit every day, and know that you will build that resilience. And when you are on the other side, you will be ready for it, because it's not one day thing, and you will just simply grow into who you want to be. Give yourself time, compassion, and it will happen. Greg, thank you so much again for joining. I really enjoyed the conversation.
Loved it. Absolutely loved it. Hope you guys all have an outstanding day and it was at least somewhat helpful. I hope everyone's been able to get at least some more comfort in knowing that the fear of success is real and it's okay. No matter what, you're going to be safe, but it's more than rewarding for you to take the chance and opportunity on yourself to be successful.
Thank you, everyone, for listening, and we will talk in 2 weeks. Take care. Thank you for listening to the Confidence in Trading podcast. If you are enjoying my show, please leave a review on Apple Podcasts and tell me what you like about it. Thanks to you, more traders will be able to find me, and together we'll make a bigger impact. So thank you so much. If you are new to my show, don't forget to subscribe so you can come back for the next episode. And make sure to also check some of the previous shows. Thank you again for tuning in. This is Agnieszka Wood from Ahead Coach. Bye for now.